What Raw can't do in 3 hours and what SmackDown unfortunately can't do in 2 hours, NXT can do in 1 hour, and that's given me a fun show that I'm genuinely excited to talk to you guys about. So let's do that. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Sebastian Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your April 19th NXT review. I want to encourage you guys, go back 2 videos. I'm trying a new thing with Raw. You guys know I don't review Raw. I'm doing a sort of a mini, like, point-by-point type deal. I'm calling it the Raw 3 count, which Wrestling with Reality was oh so nice to point out is a takeoff of the old WCW 3-man team 3 count, which was not intentional whatsoever. But I'm giving that a shot. I'm going to do it for a couple weeks, see if you guys like it, see if you guys give me some feedback on it. If nobody gives me any feedback on it, it probably won't last. But if you guys like it, go take a look. Like I say, it's 2 videos back. Tell me what you think of that. It's a very small thing. I'm aiming for the videos to be 10 minutes or less, but those of you that have been watching this channel for a long time know that's probably not very likely. Also, I gotta say, by the end of May, we will be doing the May edition of Ask the Phoenix. Go back several videos, or go up into that little exclamation gimmick up there and put in your questions for the May Q&A if you wish. Let's talk about NXT. NXT is in a rebranding, a rebirth, so to speak, in the past few weeks since WrestleMania, and it's going well so far. We got the new imagery, the new intro, the new graphics for the show look badass, and we've got Bobby Roode coming out with that beautiful, new, and very much improved WWE NXT World Championship. He comes out, he cuts a Bobby Roode promo, which is fucking great. He talks about being the talk of WrestleMania weekend, again. Talks about 15,000 people in the Amway Center came just to see him, and says about Nakamura, he says he snuffed out the last shining star of the old NXT. He mocks the farewell that NXT did for Nakamura last week, which I'm going to guess in the tapings happened right before this began, so that's got to be funny for the audience. He said, I stayed home from that show because it was bullshit. I knew Nakamura was going to talk some crap, when really I beat him so bad he ran from NXT to SmackDown Live. None of you deserve to be in my NXT, to which the crowd responds, we deserve it, which made me smile a little bit. Hideo Itami comes out. And I figure he's there. He's going to stick up for his friend Shinsuke Nakamura. You know, their home country, fellow home countryman type thing. But he doesn't. He comes in. He's in a suit like Bobby Roode's in a suit. He comes in, bitch slaps him, which immediately gets a one more time chant from the crowd. Bobby Roode is in all his apoplectic glory in the corner, just, you know, taking off the watch, taking off the jacket. You want to go? You want to go? You want to go? Hideo Itami's just sitting there in the ring like, okay, get yourself all riled up, whatever. Bobby Roode takes one step in, eats a GTS from Hideo Itami, who grabs the belt, poses with the belt, to the joy of the crowd, which is fucking great. If you had told me the next potential contender for Bobby Roode was going to be Hideo Itami, I would have laughed at you, because I haven't read the spoilers for NXT in quite a while. I figured they were maybe going to push Cassius Ohno. I figured, oh, good God help me, somebody like No Way Jose or Andre Cien Almas, who we're going to talk about later on, or the returning Drew McIntyre, which would have been great, but a little too soon for him, as he's not new, but just came back to the company. Hideo Itami, I feel kind of bad for the guy, because he's had very many stop and start types of thing. He got into a little bit with Finn Balor when they were a tag team for a little bit. He came back for the Dusty Classic, and I think he was going to be originally teamed up with Tozawa. Was that right? Maybe I'm wrong on that one. But he's been sidelined with injuries more than once, so I really hope the fact that they immediately paired him up with the NXT champion means they're confident enough in his medical condition and ability to carry a major storyline, and that he's all good to go on that one. On the downslope of that, I see them taking it off of Bobby Roode, how great he's being right now, and putting it on Hideo Itami, having two champions on the bounce that can't really, I can't say can't cut a promo, but aren't known for their mic skills in Shinsuke Nakamura and Hideo Itami. I hope people don't think I'm being racist for saying that, but WWE's based in America. You better learn to speak fucking English. I'm just saying. In the back, we've got a promo segment, promo interview, like two-ended interview with Tyler Bate from the UK Championship tournament, the current and reigning UK champion that doesn't have a show to defend his title on right now, and Jack Gallagher from Raw/205 Live, because they're going to have a match next week. And that's pretty cool. I like that NXT is its own brand, but it's also become this very fluid platform for everybody. It happened with the Cruiserweight Classic. Guys that were eliminated from the Cruiserweight Classic had some matches on NXT just to get their name out there before they went back to whatever else they were doing, or before they got called up to the roster, let's be real. And a couple of the guys, I know Tyler Bate, Trent Seven, I know Wolfgang has been at NXT house shows and all that sort of thing. So, you know, you got the Cruiserweight Classic, which was a WWE Network thing, and those stars got some screen time, some time to ply their craft, as the phrase goes, on NXT as a platform as popular as it is, and the UK tournament guys are going to be the same thing. Very similar with the Dusty Classic. Not everybody involved in the Dusty Classic is signed to an NXT or WWE developmental deal. I assume they're going to do a very similar outreach type of deal when WWE starts their women's tournament, which apparently is starting in the next month or so. But it's very, very cool. Not only are they showcasing this guy from the UK tournament, showcasing this guy from 205 Live, they're having a championship match on NXT next week, which is cool. Which, I've said it before, until the UK show starts, which they keep saying, hey, these guys have a UK show coming, and not giving any other details. Until that happens, the UK Championship, sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. The UK Championship has kind of become a de facto mid-card title on NXT. Now, it's not de facto in the case that everybody on NXT is going to fight for it, but it's just, it's on there, it's a singles title, it's not going to be fought for by guys like Bobby Roode. I mean, the guys from Heavy Machinery are not going to be fighting for the Cruiserweight Championship anytime soon. But, I mean, you got Neville. You could have, if they chose to go this way, if they really wanted to do a cross-promotional thing on NXT, you could have Neville, who's the current Cruiserweight champion, versus Tyler Bate, who's the current UK champion, on not on SmackDown, on NXT. That would be a huge get. That would be a huge main event. You could put that on a takeover, because 205, I know they're stars perform on Raw, but they really are their own brand, and they sort of float on their own, as the UK guys do. So if you want to make a takeover feel special, bring these two titles from these two other brands and have it competed title for title on your show at the next takeover. I think the next takeover is going to be Takeover Chicago. That would be a cool little thing. That's something I don't think anybody else has thought of, but yeah, do it. Keep the title on Neville. I know Austin Aries is going to get it eventually, but keep the title on Neville. Have a title for title match with Tyler Bate at the NXT TakeOver Chicago. You're welcome. Forward me the creative check. And I'll put it on my dresser over there. Andrade Cien Almas is still in NXT, unfortunately, because he's useless. We see handycam footage, and I like the fact that NXT does not do all of their backstage promos as cliche as WWE does. They have this, you know, a lot of people with like cell phone cameras and little handy cams and whatnot, and you see the two members of Heavy Machinery pumping each other up as they're doing their workout, and then you see Andrade Cien Almas out of the corner of the view, confronting the newly returned Drew McIntyre, calling him out for a match next week, which is fine and wonderful. And Drew McIntyre just came back, which means Andrade's probably going to get smoked, which makes me happy. Later on in the night, that is confirmed for next week as well. So we've got a UK title match next week, and we got Drew McIntyre, who's probably going to beat the shit out of Cien Almas. Speaking of beating the shit out of Cien Almas, that's what Danny Burch should have done in this very, very short match. Almas versus Danny Burch. I could not give a shit about Danny Burch, and I can't stand Almas, so it's a good thing this match was short. Collar and elbow tie-up, some chain wrestling, an overhead toss by Burch, face first, slam by Burch, clotheslines by Almas, chops and a mudhole stomp by Almas, forearms and uppercuts by Burch, a double knee press in the corner, and that stupid-looking hammerlock DDT that that he does, gets him the win, and nobody cares. Hopefully this was only meant to pump him up so that Drew McIntyre can knock him down. Video package for Asuka, and it's not just a highlight package. They go through all her wins at all the takeovers since she became the champion. She's been undefeated for over a year. But also they've got that serious sit-down type thing that they do when they do tributes for people. And it's the entire rest of the women's roster putting her over. She's this scary individual. You know, she's got submissions that'll rip you in half. She's got strikes that'll knock your jaw off, etc., etc., etc. But then it sort of turns. The conversation sort of turns to, yeah, she's amazing and she's indestructible, and she's violent and all this, but she's also getting cocky. And then they all did, you know, when they do the Royal Rumble promo videos and the by the numbers and all that, and they say, I will be the one. Well, they're the women on NXT, which has the biggest women's division in the WWE. Let's just get over that for a second. And they're all saying, kind of like a very, very small version of who's everybody saying that they're going to beat the Streak. Thank you, Brock Lesnar. I will be the one to knock off Asuka and her winning streak. And Peyton Royce and Billie Kay say we will, and unless they're having a handicap match, that's just not going to happen. But I mean, it does pump up Asuka to have an entire division talk about how scary she is. That's great. It's also great that it shows all the other women. It shows the women that she's defeated that have gone on to the main roster, like Bayley, Mickie James, etc. But it also shows the depth of the current NXT women's roster. I mean, I did it last week, but let's go over it again. You got Aaliyah. You got Liv Morgan, you got Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, even though I don't care for them that much. You got the newly debuted Ruby Riott along with Nikki Cross, and you got Ember Moon, and you got Asuka. And they all get TV time. Not every week, they sort of swap off, and the four at the top are on the TV show one week, and the four on the bottom, like this week, were on the show this week. But every single woman on their roster gets time. SmackDown can't say that, and Raw can definitely not say that. I mean, they gave my girl Alexa Bliss a title shot, so I guess I should be a little nicer to Raw. But still, NXT does it better. Gotta love technical difficulties. Next, we got a video package detailing the entire rivalry between Eric Young and Ty Dillinger, which is basically Ty Dillinger and friends versus Sanity. I mean, if you've been paying attention, you know what this is. You really didn't need a video package this long, but it's cool. It's a send-off for Ty Dillinger. I get it. We get Liv Morgan and Aaliyah versus Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. Now, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce, you guys know I'm not crazy about them. They are great wrestlers for what they are. For where they are in developmental, they are great wrestlers. I don't care about them as people. Liv Morgan is one of the wrestlers that I really find fun in NXT, and Aaliyah is my hometown girl from Toronto, so who am I pulling for in this match? Morgan and Kay start, and there's a headlock by Kay, and a shoulder tackle hip toss by Kay, and a matrix by Morgan. Second rope leg drop by Aaliyah, forearm by Kay. Head scissor roll up by Aaliyah. Spin kick by Royce. My writing sucks. I do apologize. Back elbow by Aaliyah, and a quick roll up gets a win for the baby faces, and it's all good. And my hometown girl was the one that picked up the pin. That's also good. Everybody else says they can't stand Liv Morgan's music. Yeah, it's a bit obnoxious, but it's also kind of fun. Billie Kay and Peyton Royce with the whole, like, one's a diva and one's Poison Ivy, I could do without. Get them up there with Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross and Ember Moon and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, I don't expect Liv Morgan to be the champion anytime soon, but just at least get her in the conversation. Here we go. The farewell match for Ty Dillinger. And once again, the Canadians are in the main event. It's a cage match to keep Sanity out. Because every time you sign a cage match and it's designed to keep people out, it obviously does the job. Nobody's going to possibly get involved in a cage match. It's a cage match in the WWE. Oh, yes. Young and Dillinger come out for their match. Young does send Sanity to the back initially. Hard chops by Dillinger. Both men trade punches for a while. It brawls around for the first couple of minutes like a cage match does. Irish whip and a backdrop by Dillinger. Young rakes the eyes. Dillinger eats cage wall and he's trapped between the ropes. Young steps on his face and then knee drops him in the face. Young then perches himself on the top turnbuckle and has him in a dragon sleeper, but then picks him up off the ground by his throat. So it's a hangman's dragon sleeper, which does not look comfortable. Elbow to the back of the neck by Young, body shots by Dillinger, a headbutt and a mounted 10 punch, which gets the loudest 10 chants you're ever going to hear in the NXT arena because, you know, they're doing the farewell bit and the crowd's behind Dillinger, etc. Rocket launcher off the top by Dillinger. Dillinger tosses Young into the wall over and over and over again and follows it up with a mudhole stomp. Super kick by Dillinger. They trade punches on the top rope. Dillinger busts Young's head open, right truly, on the top of the cage. It's a shorter cage because the NXT arena is a smaller arena. I don't know if the ring's any smaller. I doubt that the ring's a bit any smaller. I think it's a pretty standard WWE ring, but the cage that they have in the NXT arena is a lot smaller. So to get to the top of it takes a lot less effort. It's less of a climb, so to speak. So when you're standing on the top turnbuckle, it's very easy to smack somebody's face off the top of the cage, and that's what Dillinger does. And Young is busted open, and he doesn't really make any effort to hide it. You can see once or twice where the camera tried to cut around it, and it just didn't work. He knocks Dillinger back in the ring. He can leave. He can leave. He's on the top of the cage. All he has to do is step down. But instead, he hits a Macho Man Randy Savage style elbow off the top of the cage on Young. And you get a cool little bit of drama, a cool little bit of storytelling in this match. Because for a solid 20 seconds or so, you have Eric Young just standing over a broken and bloody Ty Dillinger, because he just ate that incredible elbow drop. He then makes his first step towards the door, and Ty Dillinger, who's a mess on the ground, just brings one hand up and grabs him by the boot. And it's just that little motion that's like, no, motherfucker, I am not done yet. Dillinger hits the tiebreaker with his last gasp of energy. Dillinger goes for, what the fuck does that say? Dillinger goes for the door. My writing sucks so bad, guys. You guys think I'm kidding. I'm really not. Because what my notes say next is Dillinger goes for the door, and because my writing sucks so bad, it looks like Dillinger goes for the doot. Yes. Dillinger goes for the door, Sanity blocks him, Nikki Cross jumps on the referee on the outside of the ring and has him locked in a backpack sleeper, which makes me smile. Sanity, Wolf and Dane are blocking the door. They hit him with the door, which is the cliche steel cage spot. Ruby Riott, I cannot read my fucking writing. It's all written in the last little corner of the page too, which makes it extra fun. Roderick Strong and Cassius Ohno come in and they fight the guys. There is a big brawl with a couple people on the outside, and then Killian Dane rears himself back, goes up the rampway a little bit, and then just sandwiches everybody involved into the outside of the cage. It's a nice, neat little spot. Killian Dane then comes into the ring to help Eric Young get out, but Ty Dillinger hits a crossbody off the top of the cage on both of them and then escapes, locking all of Sanity in the cage, mocking them with the 10 chant. He gets carried out on Ohno and Strong's shoulders. Everybody's doing the 10. Everybody's doing their thank you Ty chants. They tied up the story between Young and Dillinger in a nice, neat little bow so that he can go on to SmackDown Live. Everybody wins. Cool moment. It wasn't like Nakamura's, where he got to come out and make a speech and say his goodbyes and get his reception and all that sort of thing. But it's all good. Like somebody like Dillinger, his goodbye should be a match on NXT, because he lost at the TakeOver. So if that was his last match, yeah, the whole idea with wrestling that you're supposed to go out on your back and leave it to the next generation, I get that. I really, really do. Like Undertaker did, even though nobody likes it because it was Roman Reigns, and that just keeps getting more and more amusing as the days go on. Go check Twitter anytime Roman Reigns is on screen. It's the best comedy. You cannot tune into the Comedy Network and get something as funny as Twitter when Roman Reigns is on the screen, especially when he's getting sandwiched by Braun Strowman. But that's Raw, and this is NXT, and this has been NXT, and this was a great send-off for Dillinger. We got a cool new feud for Bobby Roode. We got 2 matches to look forward to next week. One of them's a title match. They better come back soon with something for the tag team division, is the one thing I will say. They did a great job of pumping up Asuka, even though she wasn't there, showing the depth of the women's division. I really don't give a shit about Cien Almas. I hope he gets his ass kicked next week, but this was a fun episode of NXT, and they, like I say this a lot about NXT, they cram a lot into a little less than 1 hour. Get more of these writers on Raw and SmackDown, is all I'm going to say. Save SmackDown from the fucking shakeup and all the boring versus bullshit. No, not thinking about negative shit right now. This was NXT. This was an amazing show, and I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there. Top me on there. Start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys.
So shine, you're a freak like me.